All right, so you're looking for the best TV for next generation console gaming. I'll just rattle all this stuff out, okay? So, first, you're better off waiting until 2021. The reason for that is because you're going to have more HDMI 2.1 options that will support both FreeSync and G-Sync, and as a gamer, you win. So if you get tired of console and want to go to PC, you'll have more G-Sync options. If you want to go over to console side and just have the best experience with FreeSync Ultimate instead of the basic lowly FreeSync standard, then you'll be, again, winning there too. So it's going to have more features in 2021 that will target those consoles specifically, so you are better waiting for that. In 2020 right now, the options aren't great. You have LG and Samsung, Vizio later this year. That's not a lot to pick from. Don't limit yourself like that, especially because those consoles launch holiday 2020. So basically what that means for you is you're essentially waiting until the end of this year. Well, why not just wait until after CES, which is shortly after the end of this year and winter of 2021, and see what the next generation of TV technology has to offer. And let me just say, I am really excited to see mini LED technology and dual LED technology really surprise the world with how it is implemented in future years, because I definitely saw that it gets close to OLED performance. It was just only off in a couple of areas and it needs to tighten some things up. But if it could do that, it'd be amazing. But either way, you have more options in the following year. So a word of caution, just wait until after those consoles launch. Now, if you want the best for this year, you don't want to wait. There's no way you're waiting, period, end of discussion. Get the Vizio because the Vizio is the better option right now. Now, for those who are in foreign countries, I know a lot of Europeans have been asking, well, I don't have Vizio. I would totally look into it, but here we don't have that. We only have LG. The Sony is very expensive. In that case, yeah, I mean, I guess if you really have to pick, get the LG, but ultimately speaking, it's not ideal. I highly recommend you guys seriously just buckle down, have the discipline yourself, to just sit and weather the storm. I know it's annoying to wait for anything you're really excited for, but seriously wait and you'll get rewarded with a better offering, a more eclectic range of televisions. And that's what this is all about. Choice, consumer power. And that's what I'm trying to give you guys through this information. So hopefully this is helping some of you guys. Now, I have a little theory here as well for 2021. I think if Sony does implement HDMI 2.1, it definitely won't be to the grand scale that we're seeing in a lot of other places. I'm also noticing that this year they didn't implement HDMI 2.1 on a grand scale, and I truly believe that that's due to the fact that their 10 teraflop console is limited in some aspect of power where it won't be able to sustain 4K locked at 120 FPS. So I think we got to scale our expectations, as I've been saying, for these next gen consoles. I know everyone's expecting 4K at 120 hertz. I mean, you're not getting max settings if they do that. You're probably getting the shadows turned down below medium on some of these games. You're definitely not going to have much in the way of anti-aliasing, which what that means for you is more jagged lines, less texture filtering, things that will look worse than a 1440p at 120 PC. I'm just kind of keeping it real for you guys because I know a lot of people don't really know what I'm talking about. But either way, it's not ideal to get too hung up on the specifications of consoles that haven't launched yet. Just wait for them to launch, get your information, then go TV shopping when we can come back at this with truly educated thoughts and be informed about this. Now, another thing I did want to address is that LG right now, they have the C10, right? That's obviously the most popular one because it's 48 inches. It's going to be cheap come Black Friday. Great. Hey, if you want a cheap OLED come Black Friday, that probably will be the guy to get, or maybe an older B series. But the thing is, it's also reliant 100% on an update to get compatibility for FreeSync. Now, the next gen consoles are AMD and their entire GPU and CPU framework. So you need to make sure that you're buying AMD FreeSync technology. Now, LG has promised that they're going to roll out FreeSync later on before the consoles or shortly after. Don't really know or care. The point being is that a patched FreeSync is not the same as dedicated support. I've talked about this in prior videos, and some people have taken to ignoring it. The RAFCAVE is one of them. You will definitely run into his videos if you're searching into the C10. He is pretty ignorant in his love for his television, which, hey, if you love your television, there's nothing wrong with that. But the degree that he takes it to will be misleading for some of you. So I wanted to kind of put the facts where they belong and check all the emotions at the door. So first things first, LG is running on the lowliest form of G-Sync. As I've mentioned, it's called G-Sync compatible, which is called a validated experience. And NVIDIA's exact wording on this is that it has an adequate variable refresh rate, a variable refresh rate range that is adequate. There is no flickering, there's no blanking out of your picture, there are no artifacts, and it's on by default. But outside of that, it doesn't do too much for you. Now, the TVs that I recommend in 2020, if you recall, is the Vizio HDMI 2.1 FreeSync televisions. The reason for that is because they have FreeSync Premium Pro or FreeSync Ultimate, formerly known as FreeSync 2. Now, that is the highest end, top tier flagship technology from AMD to work with your high end AMD consoles. So it's obviously a perfect match where you're just sitting here with the lowliest form of G-Sync compatibility, and then LG is looking to patch in just generic FreeSync. It's so generic that they needed to put an asterisk next to FreeSync because it's not going to be anywhere close to the Premium Pro that you're going to be experiencing on a fully realized FreeSync TV. Now, the difference between FreeSync that LG is going to be giving you and the real FreeSync that I'm recommending is the following. The FreeSync basic tier that LG is going to have a tear-free, low flicker, and low latency experience with variable refresh rates. That's all good and fine. But when you go over to the AMD side of things with the Premium Pro, you then step up into HDR capabilities and game support. And then you have at least 120 hertz at a minimum of 1080p. You then get low frame rate compensation, tear-free and flicker-free. And you also have low latency in both HDR and SDR, which is very crucially important. Because if you recall, I was saying something about PlayStation with the variable power and their variable teraflops probably being a problem for a locked 4K 120, which means you might have to couple in SDR or 1080p with 120 hertz. And that's how you're going to be able to get that big blistering 120 FPS frame rate we're all expecting. And I feel like that's probably what's going to happen. Well, if you have low latency in both HDR and SDR on FreeSync Premium Pro, you're going to be good to go. Where on the basic FreeSync, you better hope that they have support for that, which and again, AMD's exact proposition, they don't have that support. And FreeSync Basic, which is what they're offering on LG side of thing, is what you're stuck with. So needless to say, without over complicating all this, you're better off just buying the compatible technology with the compatible technology. I mean, like they tell you, man. They tell you exactly what you need, but there are people that will ignore that information for the sake of brand loyalty and ignorance. Now, another thing I want to kind of clear up, as an OLED owner myself, I don't recommend Sony for next generation HDMI 2.1 console gaming. In fact, I've never recommended that. And the RAFCAVE claiming that I have recommended that or even suggesting it is just erroneous and false on his part. It's just fake news. The same is said about him saying that I've doctored the footage where I compared my A8G to his C10. I used a Samsung Galaxy S9 in full auto and literally just put it into a side-by-side aspect ratio cropper and literally put them side by side so you can see the difference. And the difference was that staggering. So it is what it is. And if you think that I've doctored his original footage, I challenge anyone out there with a program where you can put things side by side to crop my video out and to literally replace it with his original footage at the same exact values, and you'd see exactly what I'm telling you, my dudes. There is no attempt to, fraudulently do anything on the #1 brand in honesty. It's just LG guys are really sore about losing, and that's another thing you're going to run into. Researching this whole topic, it's filled with a bunch of overly emotional fangirls from LG. The moment you tell them their TV loses, they overreact and they fly off the handles. They get angry. They throw shade. They're children. They're children in the highest form, and they're very petty. I mean, I've got one guy dedicating himself to making an entire channel about me. Well, hell, I've actually have a couple of guys doing that. And I've got another guy that is mocking me for wearing my mask to protect my identity from creepos like him that are so obsessed that they can only think about why I don't show my face instead of the information I give. It should really let you know the caliber of person that you're getting the information from. So yeah, you've got to protect yourself from these crazy people in this day and age. And part of me doing that is just letting you know what the real information is. Now, the final thing I want to touch on before I end this video is the brand influencer problem on YouTube and social media. So those unfamiliar, there's something called influencer marketing or brand influencing. Seriously, look up how to become a brand influencer and you'd be disgusted with what you learn. Simply put, it is a business. It is a marketing strategy from big companies like Samsung, LG, Digital Trends, HDTV Test, all these bigger companies. And what happens is they basically, the manufacturer like LG will approach somebody like Vincent Tio from HDTV Test, give him VIP treatment and allow them to experience all the wonders of their world in exchange for a positive read on the product. This has gone on for so many years, and it's a good way that people make money online selling opinions for hire. But the problem is people trust these opinions when they go on articles in major publications that are also sponsored and brand influencing. Now, when you see these awards from places like Red Dot or CNET or Engadget, and they're saying that LG is the best of 2020, the best of best, these are paid publications that have already been sponsored or influenced to brand influence you, changing your buyer decision, influencing your very purchasing power to be able to buy that LG that they say is the best. I have tested LG many times on this channel, and every time LG has underwhelmed me except for the E8 from 2018. That is a big, big problem, especially because when I compared the E8 calibrated to a Hisense H9F budget TV calibrated, it lost. It lost so badly, it embarrassed me, and I got rid of it because I just couldn't stand the fact that a $799 TV right now today beat a TV that was well into the $2,000 price range. So I just wanted to specify that. Now, I paid $12.50 for it for the 55-inch, but the 65-inch and all that other stuff would have been way more. But my point being is, when you're looking at the best, you are better waiting, you are better getting all the facts and gathering all the information. Without drawing this out for too long and doing too much, I just want to say that, again, avoid ignorant morons like the RAFCAVE. This is exactly why I don't like recommending AV guides. For those wondering, I recently did a video about that. I hate doing it because shortly after they show me their ass and show me something that really indicates that they are an incompetent, very immature source of information that will mislead a lot of people knowingly and willingly. And that's what the RAFCAVE is doing right now by saying the LG C10 is just the best without telling you that there are probably better options and that 2021 will probably be your best bet. But that being said, that's why I'm the #1 brand in honesty, and I want to thank you for watching. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later.